So I just had a weird conversation. And, I come up from church and grassroots church land and religion and religious politics and politics, loving the Obamas and, even the Bush family when they were in trouble. I was too young to understand stuff back then because I was still in elementary school, middle school. And and certain people don't like what I'm doing and about the church and the ministry and how I'm conducting myself in the church and the ministry and how I told my peers that I didn't open a church because I absolutely wanted to. Y'all, we had a conversation one night. They asked me, they were like, AJ, they were like, well, why do you want to be in the church and doing what's that? I said, I didn't want to be in the church at all. But while I'm here, I might as well benefit and get something out of it. So we started King of Kings Refuge. And refuge means to take refuge. It doesn't mean to take asylum. It means to take refuge. After you've done the Lord's work and you've done good for the Lord and you've done good for the church and the ministry and the community, it means we needed a place to be held and comforted and coddled. And King of Kings Refuge Ministry is made to coddle after you've done your work, after you've completed your assignments and your objectives. So I had this person come up to me and they were telling me stories and stuff. They kept summoning me from my past. I told them I don't use my old social media networks. I don't use my other accounts. And the people that I was involved with, they couldn't take no for an answer. They just couldn't take no for an answer. It had to be the way that they wanted it because the ministry can be a staunch industry. And, the business side is much different than the religious aspect of going to church and doing service. So I told this lady, the lady wanted to keep summoning me and telling me how she does things at her church and how she would never this or that in the church and she would this, that, and like as if she was dictating policy to me. And I looked around and told her, said, to her, I'm not saved like that. I'm not your pastor. I'm their benefactor. I'm not your pastor. And we had a sermon the other day called Don't Let Your Faith Get You Snatched. And I was telling them about that. I was saying your faith is your religion, your religious precedents, how you feel about religion, how you grew up in religion, how you view religion when it comes to politics and the world stage and the internet and the age of the internet and the age of influencers and multi-billionaires and trillionaires and that type of lifestyle in the ministry itself, based on the things that you don't think I should or should not do, or based on the things that you want to direct me to give to the people through the church and the ministry. I said, the King of Kings, I'm your benefactor. I'm not your pastor. I'm the one that put up the money for everything. I put up the educational credentials for everything. So when we got up there was somebody being disrespectful, and I titled my lesson that I gave, it was like a seminar in front of hundreds of people, maybe even a few thousand. I was like, don't let your faith get you snatched. Don't let your faith get you snatched. We talked about the workplace. We talked about being Christians in the workplace, Christians out of church. We talked about God being God. You can't lock God in a building and expect your building to take the shape of God. God is larger than one building, especially if you ain't doing right in that building. So I had my past call ringing, and I kept cutting my past off. I said, if you don't want to be listening to me from where I'm at in the future, it ain't no need in you calling.